Woof. That was a tough one. Took it out of me. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Trying to behave every day.
Trying to behave. Yeah, nice. That's all of us, I think.
The human condition.
Yeah, the human condition, trying to behave or not, right? If you're one of my children. Yeah. Y'all have a good episode last time?
Yes.
Memorable.
It was memorable. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Who's next, do you figure? After all that? No, too morbid? Starting off on the right. All right, got it. I saw Paula's face. I thought, oh, that was a mistake. That's not her keep going face. That was the hey, what the fuck face.
Too soon.
Funny. The too soon face.
We're still processing. It was a lot.
I was sad. I was sad afterwards. I told people at my job, I was like, I'm in mourning, folks.
I'm in mourning.
I killed one of my D&D characters. Excuse me.
You were wearing all black.
Yeah. Absolutely.
With a underliner.
Yeah. Well, I painted my fingernails and everything. I'm ready.
Dang.
I'll be honest. I love
the black veil.
That's a good idea. I love the trend. Now that so not that I'm not a young person, obviously, but I love the trend of young people have made men wearing nail polish normal, and I'm really getting into it. I'm gonna start wearing nail polish more often. I wish I wish I'd been able to wear nail polish as a teenager. I feel like I would have liked that, but now I can as a grown up. So
Do
take
it.
that as a win.
I feel like you can thank Matt Mercer for that, to be perfectly honest.
I feel like you can thank a lot of people, but yeah.
True.
Does he do that? Is that a thing?
100%.
Oh, well, I like it. It's cool.
It's the vests, too. I feel like he's brought vests in. He loves those things.
I'm not sure that I'm a vest person, but
You draw the line at
Jason.
nail painting.
Yeah. I like puffy vests, for when it's cold. I'm a puffer vest guy. I like that part. But
You're a puffer vest kind of guy. All right, I like it.
they're
And then
cool.
fingerless gloves to show off your manicure, right?
Oh,
with the puffy vest and fingerless gloves. I think that's the look this winter. You heard it here first.
I don't know that I can do fingerless gloves. I feel like why are you wearing gloves then?
Well, why are you wearing a vest
To show off your nail polish, obviously.
No.
Fingerless gloves and vests are very similar.
I think it's the same thing. Yeah, I think
vests are an important part of any layering system, folks. Let's talk about layering for cold. Oh, you're saying they just go together?
Yeah, they go together.
I associate, fingerless gloves with being unhoused, but maybe that's just me.
We need to get past that stigma. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, fingerless gloves are cool. They used to be worn by fancy ladies back in the mid 19th century. So,
well, you would know. So, that's because Paula runs a fancy what do you call it? Antique wear, though, right? It's not just an antique store. It's antique clothing.
Yeah,
vintage
fashion
clothing.
stuff. No, it's antique. It's older than vintage.
There's a difference. I didn't even
I was just going to ask, there's a difference between the two? Please educate us.
Yeah, vintage is typically not 100 years old. Antique is 100 plus years old.
So you heard it here first, folks.
What's retro? Retro is not necessarily vintage. It could be vintage style.
Oh,
now I'm more confused? Question mark.
It's something that you're learning. I feel like the more you don't know, the more you don't know, the more you've learned.
True.
It's real expertise there, everybody. Be willing to admit you're wrong. It's great. Great way to learn things.
You're so right. True and valid.
Right. We don't have one of our people here because their character died. So
it's too soon. I'm not over it.
All right.
Mike.
Yeah. R.I.P. Solaeus. Who put that in the chat, by the way? I love that.
It was Josh, right?
Yeah, I did.
That was good.
Yeah,
I mean, it was sad. But
Yeah.
it crushed me.
It's
What
on
do you-
our Twitter page if you want to go look at it. So there is a spoiler there, but I felt like it was worth marking. So
What do you mean? Everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna plead his case to his goddess.
He's
The
only
light,
mostly dead, right?
but mostly dead, is still slightly alive.
Listen, I'm a big Princess Bride fan, but that guy was not ripped in literal too, right? Like, oh
Well,
god.
We need
he
Miracle
also
Max.
didn't supplicate a goddess to help him, so
Right.
there is that.
We have hope. Can
We
you
have
see?
hope.
Can you see these hopeful faces? We have
Oh.
hope.
That's
If we all give you
fine.
puppy dog eyes, what are the chances that Solaeus can come back to us?
You don't have to argue with me. You have to argue with,
With the Luxon. Okay, all right. I'm digging it.
well, and like, again, it's hey, we'll get into it when we get into it, but yeah. He didn't have the best ending. Speaking of which, y'all about ready to start? Anything else we want to talk about beforehand? Y'all want to hear about how I had to replace a toilet? I had to replace a toilet. It was really boring.
Wow.
It was
Sounds
a
like a fun
crappy
time.
problem.
Yo.
Yeah.
I'll give that like a 6.5 out of 10.
Thank you.
If
I've
I'm
used it a couple
rating it.
times too, so it's not like I feel like I could have gotten better jokes over the time since I've done it, but no, it's like that in shitty situation. That's about all I've got.
It's time to flush that one right down.
And see, like already better than what I got. That's upsetting. So
I have
negative
more time.
always
inspiration.
got to
for-
workshop
yeah.
your material. Got to workshop your material.
All right. I'm feeling it. I'm
so
ready to go. Y'all
sweaty,
ready?
Anxious.
You're sweating?
I am also sweaty. My
Well, 'cause-
palms are quite
Because
sweaty.
that pit fiend's still there, eh?
Knees weak,
Yeah.
mom spaghetti, something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same. For sure.
Okay, let's
But-
do it.
It's a special episode tonight. Because we're on the big 5-0.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
that this episode?
It
It
is.
is. Oh my gosh. I was like, wait, why is this special? It's so sad.
Because a goddess is going to bring Solaeus back to life.
Yes, that's why it's special.
Yeah, for sure. And
Could
also,
be.
we're on
Could-
episode
could
50.
be. Yeah, episode 50. That's a big one. All right. Well,
That is
speaking
a
of which,
milestone.
let's talk about it. So, hey, internet people, I know you've been here for a bit, and we've been ignoring you, but that's just our style. You're welcome. So, welcome to episode 50 of Best Left Buried, a little Heroes Die show story. In which our heroes come together from across this continent of Wildmount, join as a team with no issues or divisions internal to themselves, and try and find some relics buried under the ice. This episode is brought to you by us, the folks of Heroes Die Show. So I'm your game master. I'm Jason. It's nice to meet you if you're new, and nice to see you again if you're not. And I'm joined by 3/4 of our normal cast because one of our cast members lost their character at the end of episode 49. It was tragic, but for a show called Heroes Die Show, you had to figure it would happen eventually. And so with luck, they'll be joining us at some point today, but we'll see what happens. We're joined by our awesome cast. We're going to start on my left with Paula, and then we're going to do Josh and Taya, just so y'all have your order. But I do want to make a special call out. The person who's not joining us is Mike, who used to play Solaeus. Maybe will still be playing Solaeus if he can be brought back, and maybe playing somebody else. But that's who we got. All right.
We
and
know
with that-
just as much as you guys do, which is nothing. So that's why we're all sweaty and stressing right now.
Right. Well, I know more, but everyone else is
Oh.
stuck.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. All right.
Oh.
And with that, take us off with introductions, Paula.
You keep switching up the order. It's so stressful. It's
You're
okay.
welcome.
It's okay. I'm Paula, and I'm a little stressed. And I play Kit in this Best Left Buried series. And I'm here to tell you about our social media. We are on the internet in all the usual places. You can find us on Twitter. And I think there was a special homage to our lost character there. So you can see updates like that on our Twitter account. Our handle is @SignHeroesDieShow. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. You can find funny moments from our show. You can find DM tips, updates, all kinds of stuff. So please go check us out. And where else can you find us on the World Wide Web?
I think that's me next if I was keeping track of order. And I am Josh, and I'll be playing Zagrin. And you can check us out on patreon.com/heroesdieshow and see that not only do we play games, we make games. We make stuff for your games. And whether you're playing 5e, you want to try out different systems, we have all kinds of stuff on there. It's all written by us. And if there's anything you'd like to see, any style of game, or if you want more monsters, let us know, because we like making stuff just as much as we like playing stuff. And I do want to give a quick shout out to that art that is available at twitter.com/@SignHeroesDieShow. Was done by Mike. So the art that you see there is the person playing the character, drawing the character, and now we have lost the character. So shout out to Mike's artistic style. All the art you see on our channel here, the layout and all that was also done by him. So big shout out. We're missing you tonight, Mike. Come back.
And I'm Taya. I've played Elspeth Pike for 50 episodes, and we'll see what happens with this pit fiend. I don't know what's going to happen. So Elspeth Pike for at least the first 5 minutes. And after that, we'll see. I'm here today to tell you to come join our Discord. We absolutely love interacting with people that watch our show and just people that are cool and on the internet, of course, which include ourselves. So definitely join our Discord. We'll have it linked here in just a second. And talk about really anything, but a couple things in particular are a DM tip channel. So if you just need some inspiration with your game, or like you have a problem, you can't really work it through, you need some help, that's a great resource, as well as things that don't necessarily make it into our live session, but we still talk about it in a behind the scenes channel. So don't miss out on that. So yeah, don't miss out on that. And also, I just wanted to say, I'm missing Soleus already. So we do miss you, Mike.
Yeah. And actually, one more thing that you might find, we just had someone from our community post a survey that they've got a friend doing like some sort of academic paper, and they've got a survey. So we'll be sure to post that link in the chat there, just so you can see it. But go take some time, fill it out, help somebody finish some sort of important academic thing. So there we go. And it's fun to do surveys. Just do it. Just do it.
It's fun to do surveys.
Oh, it's fun, Taya.
I have to say, just a side note about surveys, on Twitter, I love when surveys come up that I have no idea what the answer is. I love to skew the answer by just hitting something random and being chaotic with. That's like guilty pleasure. So
You're not allowed. You're not allowed to fill out the survey, by the way, Taya.
Yeah, don't do that with this one.
Banned. All right, folks. With that, we're going to send you away to an intro, and then we're going to come back with episode 50. Hold on to your butts.
Ah, old friend, you're here again. So glad you could stop by. Come, sit a while and let's begin. The tale of heroes die. In distant lands are stories made with villains most despised. A tale of magic, strength, and blade. Of camaraderie and lies. It's one I know quite well, you see. Perhaps you'll find out why. The legends and the histories remember. Heroes die.
All right, we're back. I'm just getting my mind right. Y'all ready? Do you feel ready for this?
Nope.
No.
Can't say that I do.
But we're gonna do it.
Yeah, well, at a certain point, it doesn't matter. Let's talk a little bit about where we are and what's been going on. So, last time on Heroes Die Show, in episode 49, our heroes had found a secret passage from this alchemy laboratory. And inside this lab, Essie, the character, had managed to, with, maybe not the help, but with the acquiescence of a lot of weird little spiders, she had managed to build herself a cure, or science herself. It's not science. Alchemy is not science. Magic science.
Elga science.
Alchemize. That's it. God.
I like it.
She managed to alchemize herself a cure to this wasting disease that had taken her after she'd been bitten by this terrible cave creature. You'd gone through the secret tunnel and you found your way into the old binding chambers in the armory, right? Clearly a place of heavy magic. And when you'd gotten there, you'd seen that there were some devils hanging out, devils that Kit recognized from some of her visions of terrible things going on in her hometown of Zadash. And so, as a group, you decided, so the devils were soon joined by your old friend, the Warlock, a creature / person who had been hunting Kit since quite literally episode 1 of our show. So about 49 episodes up to that point. And so y'all decided it was time to throw hands, and you did so. Unfortunately, you found that they'd brought along some reinforcements in the form of a 20-foot tall, horned demon with a sword and giant wings and all sorts of goodness. And as those Cambions, those devils, and the Warlock were able to escape, this massive devil, creature, demon, whatever. We're just going to call him a pit fiend. This massive pit fiend managed to kill Soleil. So we're actually going to start with that final scene, right? And let's actually jump right back into the episode. Everybody good? Any objections?
Nope.
Good.
Do we have
Is that
music?
fine? Maybe. Do you hear music?
Mm-mm.
No, neither do I.
No, sir.
Come on, buddy. Don't embarrass me now.
We don't know that Mike was providing the music too.
I mean, he quite literally did. Does.
That
Not
is
did.
true.
That's
Mike
true.
is not dead. Soleus is.
Oh.
Mike is still around to provide music, hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Well, fine. This is going to take me a second. Fine, computer. Go ahead. Sorry.
Maybe we should just, ask the spider horde to attack this guy. The spider collective?
You still have the spider
I
on
was
your
literally-
back.
Fling it.
I was actually thinking about that. Could I convince the spiders that I have gotten a relationship with to help us out? We'll see. It was an idea of mine, I'll be honest.
Wouldn't it be ironic if, spiders saved Soleus?
That would be pretty great. I think he'd have to worship spiders now. I think he
Ooh,
would have to
that's
switch
conflict.
religions.
Yeah, that's a pretty serious conflict baked in there. Okay. So, how's that music? That seems a little on the loud side. We're just going to turn it down just a scooch. All right, that's looking better. So, so we find ourselves in the middle of combat. So this demon flies over to Soleus, leaping up from the ground, takes him down, and then as he falls, picks up Soleus's body. His claws sink deep into his torso as he pulls, and you can see Soleus straining as he says his last words Zagrin to you, which I believe were oh shoot, we're gonna have to. Does anyone remember what are his last words? It was something like I'm sorry, right? As this demon begins tearing and pulling at him, and his body is ripped into his torso, split apart, with the gore and viscera showering down on this creature as it turns to face you up in the gallery, face you all up in the gallery. And with that, we go back to the top of the round, which I think starts with Essie. Oh no, sorry, we go to Soleus, who doesn't get a turn anymore. And now we go over to Kit. So Kit, you've been portaled over to the gallery, and then you see this fiend, rip through Soleus and turn, and its fell gaze falls on you. What are we up to?
I think she's just gonna... No! And then she's gonna just jump off and rush over there.
Okay. You're gonna try and close the distance with this thing?
Can I make it over there?
No, you can if you use your dash.
Yeah. Is the creature still...
So it's still on the ground. It hasn't picked up yet, and it's up to its full height, right? And you see Soleus, like the halves of Soleus' body just get flung to either side. As it looks over towards you.
I am just gonna rush over and run up this creature's body and try to get on its head and stab it.
Okay.
Can I... Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
Can I use my inspiration to attack?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's a 21 to hit.
That hits. This thing is tough, but a 20 definitely hits it. A 19 above hits it.
I don't get my sneak attack, right?
You do if you rolled with advantage.
Okay, I just didn't know if that counted.
It does.
I was so nervous that I did not have my dice out.
Nice.
So I'm gonna roll. I'm just gonna open digital dice here.
We're falling apart without Mike. We're falling apart.
Shaking right now. Okay. And that's oh, this is good because it does all the math for me.
There are some nice benefits to it.
27 plus 5, so
32.
32.
All right, and you use your dagger for that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Anything else for Kit? So you're up there. You've climbed on the creature and you stab it, right? Anything else you want to be doing?
Can I use my short sword to stab it again?
Sure, you can.
Okay, that's a...
You get your extra bonus action back thanks to your reunion with Murdo.
Yay, my buddy. That's a 26 to hit and pitiful damage, but we'll go ahead and roll that anyway. It is 5 points of damage.
All right, so that hits. Do you want to give me some description to your attacks? Anything you want to add flavor-wise?
Well, she runs up the creature's back and just and stabs it in the side of the neck, and then with her short sword she's just hacking at this thing.
Nice.
And then she's gonna scream over to Essie, can you do something, please? And then that's it.
Nice. Okay, Zagrin, you're up.
Zagran's still in his perch up on the balcony, and he kind of sees the scene play out before him, and his face remains just expressionless, but he takes Liamnor and whips it towards the pit fiend as hard as he can, to the point where it looks like his arm is going to pop out of its socket, and just these the beams begin shooting out. That's going to be you said AC is 19?
Correct.
So the first two, he's whipping so wildly, they're just launching in completely opposite directions, but that third one strikes true and hits for 12 force damage. And how far away is the pit fiend from me?
Somewhere from 40 to 70 feet, 40 to 80 in there.
Okay, I want to I want to try to jump down from the balcony and start moving towards it.
Okay, yeah, start closing some of the distance, absolutely.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
just
Now
like,
this creature, this fiend, is beginning to look like it's beginning to look torn up. Like you can tell that the wear is beginning to get to it. It has been bloodied, and it's now, not on its last legs, but not doing great. Sorry, was there anything else you were going to add, Josh?
Yeah, so just seeing that if it bleeds, it can die, and Zagran's out for blood at this point. So yeah, he just hurls himself over the banister and just begins charging towards this with Liamnor just raised above his head.
Nice. All right, so Calamity does that same thing where she pulls two bolts into existence and sends them flying at the pit fiend. This time, right, like her flame has been ineffective, but you can tell that something has changed within her. Like you see her burning with her own fire as she conjures these up, and they fling out. And this one of the two, one hits and seems to actually burn the pit fiend for once, right? So anyway, she hits it and gets it with a firebolt, and that's her. We return to the top of the round. So just going back, right? This round has been a dramatic one, right? Seleus was killed by this creature, right? And you see now Kit, especially over there, right? Like you can see the parts of his body laying strewn across the floor, right where you've been through, and you're over by that map table in the center of the room. Now Kit's closed the distance. Zagran's close. Essie, you're seeing the shot with Kit now standing on this fiend, and it's looking like it's about to grab her up and start tearing again. It's dropped its big sword, right, and just has its claws out at this point.
And it looks rough, right?
It looks rough, but it still looks ready to do some damage.
Well, first of all, she's her device, her Eldritch cannon. She's going to actually take it, and hearing her, she's just she's staring at Seleus, almost in shock, and then just comes back to herself and takes it, and she actually slams it into the wall to steady it, and a force is going to go out from her Eldritch cannon to hit this thing, and I pre-rolled, and that's a 27 to hit.
Nice.
And that's 23 points of force damage.
Oh, it stumbles, and Kit, you get the chance to jump down from the thing, and stand beside it. But it's still up.
It will be moved 5 feet away from me. Oh God, this is a gamble. Is everyone else? Do I know how fast this thing can go, and is everyone else out of its immediate distance? You know what? I think we're just gonna lock in.
And it moves fast.
I think we're at a point where we're locked in. Then, as what she actually did with the Force Ballista, she jabbed it in where she gave herself a steadier, and so she brings her musket and she steadies it on there, and she's just gonna take a shot at this thing. I'm actually okay, that's good. 22 to hit, which I believe hits.
Hits,
that's good damage. That's 16 points of magic piercing damage, and Oh, its constitution is so good. That's it. That's it.
Okay. Okay. You shoot it, and the bolt rips through one of its shoulders, and it roars, and it looks at you. Its eyes light red, but not before. Not before it decides to, do some things. So it it steps to the side, and its tail lashes out. And hits you, Zagrin. Still hits you. That's a 19 to hit.
That is a hit, and it'll take 25 cold damage from my Armor of Agathis.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh. Well, that's not good for it. Does they have anything it can do about that?
Not hit me next time. Learn its lesson.
Okay.
Not kill
all
my
right.
friends.
Okay. It seems to resist the worst of the cold damage, but it's not looking great, and it does not go in for another one.
How much damage do I take?
22 bludgeoning damage.
22. Awesome. So the armor, I still have a little bit of that blue glimmer around me.
Yeah. Cool. It leaps down over to where Kit is, and it grabs that sword, and as it grabs it, it leaps into the air again. So you're gonna have a chance to do a opportunity attack, but not until it slices you with this blade, Kit. It slices you with this blade. It's an 18 hit.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna
Silvery-
take. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Can I have to try. I'm gonna silvery barbs it.
Sure.
It has to re-roll and take
It's
the
a
lower
17
number.
hit. All right. You're gonna take 14 slashing damage and 20 fire damage as this blade bursts into flames.
Okay, I have a question. So that's 34 total. On my last turn, at the beginning of that, was I supposed to take the poison damage
yes.
again?
Yes, you were.
So that was 21 poison damage that I was supposed to take.
Oh, yeah, and you roll your con save again.
Okay, let me do that really quick. Okay.
What is it?
My con save?
Yeah.
I rolled a 2 for 4 total.
I can't
Anyone
help
want to
that.
give her your inspiration?
Can we give inspiration?
You can, yes.
I don't have it. I used it.
I do. If that's a possibility, then yes, she can have my inspiration. I'm just gonna say, Kit, not you too.
Okay. Oh, I rolled a 19 for 21.
You are no longer poisoned.
Okay. So the 34, I'm gonna use my reaction to have that
Great.
to 17. Okay. That's all I wanted to do.
And it leaps into the air with wings flying towards Essie with full speed. Kit, you do have a chance to make an opportunity attack on this thing if you
Oh,
want.
absolutely. Absolutely. Can I just leap up and try to slash it? That is, oh my god, a natural 20.
So it grabs its sword, right? And as it does it, it brings it across Kit, and then it flings itself into the air, and you can describe everything from this moment on. And so give me some damage, but I think we know where this is going. Are you talking? Because I'm not hearing you.
Oh, sorry. I don't get my sneak attack though, right? So.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, I do?
Oh, no, you don't. You didn't roll with
Well,
advantage.
could you give the advantage from silvery barbs? And that would give advantage.
I
to
was
the
gonna
last-
do that anyway. To
I
be
almost
perfectly
asked
honest.
you. I almost asked you, then I was like, no, I'll let her do that.
All
But
right, we'll take it. We'll take it.
okay. So let me roll these dice. That is okay. 25, 30 damage, but then I roll
All
again.
your damage dice again.
Okay. 30 plus 24 is 54.
It's already sufficient, so you can just describe the way you do this.
So she just like leaps up into the air, and like the tip of her dagger just like slices right across its like jugular, and it's just like and like, you know, arterial spray everywhere. And yeah, then she just lands on the ground in like one of her 3-point lands and just like breathing really heavy and looking around, like looking for Soleus at this point.
Yeah, as the beast crashes down into the ground and goes sliding, you see its body begin, like you saw with those kind of chained figures. You see its body begin to almost burn up in place. And with that, we're actually gonna get out of that music.
I'm gonna yank my Eldritch cannon out of the wall and just sling my musket back over my shoulder, and I'm just gonna take off running towards Kit and Soleus.
All right, great.
Oh gods. I got something for this. I might have. Give me a second.
Help.
She'll just
Do it quickly.
She'll just. I've never done this before, but I've been working on it. She's gonna take out some things from her bag, and it's actually like the spider figure that you've seen her like jab into people and heal. And she's gonna take it out, and she's gonna like rip it and extend it, and like, oh god. She's just gonna like try to. It's not helping! She's just gonna like try to put him back together as much as possible and like dig the spider legs into each side of his body. And she is going to dig into her bag and produce some diamonds. And she's just gonna like hesitate for a moment, and her hands are shaking, and she's just gonna kneel beside him, and she's gonna put the diamonds, she's gonna put them on this device, and she's gonna like hands shaking, and she's gonna close her eyes, and she's gonna say, I don't know if you're real or not, and I don't know if you can help right now, but you mean a whole lot to him, Luxon, and if you could give us some light right now, we really need it. And she's just gonna like expend some magical energy into this and just pray. She's begging the Luxon. She's gotta say, he's done so much for you, and you cannot let him die like this. Please. I'll believe. I'll do anything.
Kit is just on the other side of him, just like she's holding his hand and just kind of like, you know, brushing the side of his face and Soleus.
So the problem you find, Essie, is with the level of damage that's been done to Soleus, right? The magic you have, like looking at it, right? Like even trying to pull him back together, right? Like the trauma that's been done to this body is beyond the scope of your healing.
No, it's not supposed to end like this. You can't just leave him like this. You were everything to him. Now she's like looking up and just gesturing. What can I do? Change your mind. You hypocrite. He gave all this to you and you give nothing in return.
You can feel, Essie, for a moment, almost, you know, you can almost feel like a presence around you as you begin to cry, right? And Zagrin, like that sense of your relationship with your deity has always been a strange one, right? Like you've been a fanatic for the Luxon, right, for a long time, for multiple lifetimes, right? And always that presence comes almost with a sense of curiosity, right? And you feel it there, and you can feel it again in this moment. And at the same time, right, for a moment, each of you, well, Zagran and Essie and Kit, all of you, you can feel that calm of Shaleus with you for a moment. But that calm begins to fade, and you can feel it pull away. And you're all left with the feeling of something watching you. Not with any emotion that you'd understand, but almost with like a fundamental curiosity, right? A sense of something trying to understand you and what you are doing and what this morning is.
She's gonna say you're fucking worthless.
Zagran drops to his knees, and he just throws Liramnor aside, and as it gets a little bit of distance away, it just kind of vanishes, as it often does, and he just puts his head in his hands and just keeps shaking his head, but won't make eye contact with anyone or even acknowledge what it is that presence might be, and he's just a heap on the floor.
But he can, if you're close to that thing, she'll spit out.
Yeah.
But why isn't it working? It's supposed to work.
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't.
Why not? He
He's
gave
with her
everything to
now.
that damn god. Nothing? She's not gonna give
He's
nothing in
rejoined her.
return?
He's rejoined her. If we're close enough to the beacon, as I suspect, then there is hope, but I don't know if it'll be in our remaining lifetimes. It doesn't work on our time, our time, but only on hers. And we must trust her divine wisdom for when he might be returned to this plane, but he is with her now.
Divine wisdom. It's not there. I don't even think she was there to begin with.
Seleus just gave his life in defense of everything she stood for, and you disrespect his memory
And she gave
and all he
nothing back!
sacrificed?
Nothing back! This god of yours is worthless, and I think you know it. She'll just stand. This is when you believe in the damn gods. They don't care about us. They don't care about anybody.
Zagran looks up, and at first his eyes are just beating daggers towards Essie, and then he kind of just shakes his head. I can't right now. I don't know how to combat anything you might say. I just must trust in what Seleus stood for and hope that's enough at this point. He kind of begins to pull himself up. I don't know exactly how it works, but I suppose we should inform the lens. And I want to look through and see if I can find any of that paper that I saw him writing on and burning, and just try to the best of my ability, recreate whatever it is that I saw him do, and write on a piece of parchment that the shadow has been extinguished. Lord Zagran, or Zagran Beltune, Lord in Exile, and try to burn it in that same way that I saw him do to send messages.
Yeah, so he has this brazier, right, that you saw him use and light, right? This brazier that you saw him use and light. And, from what you could tell, he would burn things in it, and that was his communication mechanism. However, he didn't often do it in front of you, right? He didn't often do it in front of you, right? It was something that was clearly very private to him. So yeah, but if you want to write a note and burn it within the thing, you can absolutely do that.
Yeah, I'll just, if I saw, even if it's just best guess or making it up based on just familiarity with the inner workings of the lens, as tangential as it might be, but just do my best to try to send a message, but without any way to know that it got there or not.
Yeah. Absolutely. You also have Solace's other possessions, right? He had that staff. He had that, obviously that eye. Although that's in him, so I don't imagine it's coming with you. He had regular gear that all of you have. He kept his holy symbol. And of course, otherwise just regular things. And doesn't help him, but a potion of healing. Potion of greater healing.
Dagran's putting away the brazier. He takes the holy symbol and the pan flute that Soleil would play, and kind of puts them in a side pocket.
I think if she sees him take the symbol, she's just gonna like turn around angry and like just scream and throw her eldritch cannon against a wall and just have it implode and then just walk away, stomp away out of the room or into a more private space.
Yeah, so within this room, there are those different spaces, and with the death of that fiend, you see that chamber that was filled with smoke. You see the smoke begin to dissipate, and you see another one of those summoning circles on the floor. So what you're in here is a room that is actually a series of different rooms that are connected together, right? With the central room and nine other rooms off them. Of the other 9 rooms, 8 of them were clearly intended as summoning spaces, right? Summoning spaces for bringing in creatures from other planes. And of course, Soleus had gone to grab some of the maps. So while there's a fair bit of blood on them, right? There are still whatever maps those figures were looking at. In addition to that, there was a treasure chest in here, like ornate and fairly large chest, as well as that cage that sits on the table.
Could I have grabbed the maps before I screamed and stomped away?
Sure, totally up to you.
I think she'll find a space and just put her back to it, and then just like do that thing where you slump down against the wall, and her hands are still shaking, and she's gonna lay out the maps on her lap, and then like just look at him, and then she's gonna lean over him and start crying.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that a fair bit of Soleus's blood has gotten on these maps, right? One of them is clearly a fair bit older, right, and looks to be like, now, unlike the side view that you have, instead you have a view of the city, right? You have a view of the city with much writing in Telkuri, and then annotations in another script on top of it, but one that you don't know. Although if you want to roll me an Arcana check, you can see if you recognize it.
I think for now, she, like, while she was there and is trying to, get herself away, I don't think she's actually looking at him with the intent of looking at him. So no, she's just crying.
The other looks to be much more recent, right? Like much more recent, as if it's been drawn, and seems to show the city in its current state, right? It seems to show the city in its current state, and has a bunch of things written on it. Again, all in a language you don't recognize.
She's just like probably like pressed her forehead down into it. Like her knees are up, and then the map, and then her forehead's just down, and she's just quietly crying.
Zagrin or Kit, what are we up to?
Kit will just walk over to Zagrin and just very gently touch him on the arm. What? Oh, is there any special preparation of the body, or what's your...
Well, I don't suppose we could have formal funeral rites in the current position, but I do believe we could give him a proper send-off, as it were. He certainly wouldn't want to leave a corpse behind that could be put together like those creatures we see being formed with metal casings holding them together. So I think disposing of the remains is what would be in his best interest, or according to his wishes. I'll say a few words, and then Calamity, if you wouldn't mind igniting the body.
She nods.
Thank you.
And she comes over. She's like, I'm so sorry, Zagrin.
Thank you. He
How long
reaches
How long have you known Selaeus?
my whole life. He was this life anyway. He was very close with my mother when I was a child, agents of the lens together, and I believe it is her doing that he was sent on this mission to protect me. He's been much more than a friend or an advisor, a bodyguard. He's been a constant in my life, and this life has been more impactful than any that I've lived, I can say without a doubt. He reaches in one of the side pockets that he has and pulls out like a little bag, and you can hear like the clacking of marble. And he pulls out the knight from his dragon chest set and says, Selaeus, unquestionably but never blindly loyal. He's trusted the light's wisdom to illuminate the ideals worth protecting, and proved today that he was willing to sacrifice his very life for his beliefs. Though often an enigma, his fury was legendary. Indeed, he is the reason that the enemy of the lens fear their own shadow. Those of us gathered here knew him differently. We knew that when things looked their darkest, and we couldn't detect even a glimmer of light, it meant our guardian was near, even if he was imperceptible. He looks over towards where Essie is as she stormed off. And though some base part of me wishes to curse the Luxon for claiming yet another sacrifice in her name, at least a modicum of Selaeus' wisdom and serenity must have been imparted on me. For I see the only way to honor what he gave today is to remain alive and complete the mission. It's the only fitting tribute to someone whom we all owe our lives. For it is when we stand in the light that we may cast a shadow, and in that shadow, though indetectable, shall always remain our guardian. Calamity, please.
She looks at you, she goes, good words, Zagrin. Steps back. You can see her begin to almost glow, right? Again, like Calamity, you can see on her in places almost this like scales on her skin, and you can see heat begin to radiate off as she pulls this fire. As she pulls this fire and then holds her hands out, and this absolute inferno comes out and consumes Selaeus.
Like, as soon as that burst of light happens, Zagrin flicks his hand and casts darkness over the space. So there's no visible body burning or anything like that. It's just a dome of darkness around where that burst of light was.
Yeah. Calamity, well, I guess nobody can see anything, but after a while, you can feel the heat stop and the smell kind of reduce. And Calamity says, it's done.
And I'll drop the darkness.
Yeah. Anyone else want to say any words for Selaeus?
I don't think in front of the group, but I think she'd just look at the maps and she'd just say, wasn't supposed to be like this, Selaeus. You were supposed to keep telling me I was supposed to pray. wasn't supposed to be like this.
Kid, anything?
I think Kit is just gonna walk over to where the body was and just kneel down. Is there like a pile of ashes or anything?
Yeah, there's some ash scattered across the floor. Yep.
She'll just kind of look down at the ashes and I'm so sorry, my friend. Thank you for everything you did for us. And then she'll look at Zagrin. Did he have anyone but you?
He had the lens. I tried my best to send a message, but there's some secretive bastards, to put it nicely. I can't guarantee that the message made it to those who need to know, but so long as I survive, I'll make sure that people know what he gave to the Luxon's glory.
What about his friend?
Declan, right. I'm not sure how to reach him, if I'm being honest. I believe it only fitting that he be gifted Seleus' staff. I'll try to make sure he gets what he deserves as well. You can see him just kind of contemplating.
Yeah, so first off, everybody take inspiration. Kid, as you're kneeling there, Calamity comes over and puts a hand on your shoulder. And she looks over at you, Zagrin, and looks towards Essie, and she goes, all of you, I'm so sorry. This is terrible. Seleus was a fearsome but true friend. Zagrin, your bond with him was clearly strong. And I know that whatever comes next, the life that he shared with you and the things he shared with you mattered deeply to him. That personal loyalty I've never seen anyone exhibit before. I hope to be as good a friend and ally as Seleus was to you. And she looks
May we
over
all aspire to such strengths.
And she looks over at you, Essie, and she goes, I know this is hard, Essie, and I know it's unfair. And I hope you can find a way to remember to keep living and not let this anger consume you. I know Seleus wouldn't want you doing that. He'd want you to be cold and calculated and to stick it to the people who did this to him. Those creatures are still out there, and we don't know what they want. And I promise you, Zagrin, both of you, that as long as you choose to make these creatures pay and to interrupt their plans, that you'll have my arm beside you. She looks at you, Kit. She goes, you'll have both of our arms.
I don't even think she would have just been staring down at the map this whole time.
Zagrin will walk over to where the ash is, and he just takes the knight kind of kneels down and places it upright in the ash. I know that he wouldn't want us dwelling. Is everyone else okay? He kind of like looks at everyone just to take stock of how everybody else looks.
Kit's
Not the
almost
best day of
dead.
her life. Yeah, it's not great. There's definitely blood that's dripping down onto the map, so that's Essie's as well. Like, yeah. Uh-huh,
If
for
Kit
sure.
tripped and fell right now, she'd probably just die. So
Can I get up and actually no, I'm gonna stay. Angry. Looking down at the map. Probably watching my blood like drip down onto the map and just not caring.
So that question, so you said we felt like a presence. Was there like, did it feel like it was a godly type presence or Seleus or hard to tell?
For a moment, you all felt that calm that Seleus exuded so much around you, right? And then you felt another thing, something very alien, right? And with it, again, not like what you would expect, right? But instead, almost a sense of curiosity, a sense of being watched, and as if something was trying to understand you, right? And didn't. So there was maybe not what you'd call empathy, but at least a deep curiosity.
And it's still there. Like we can. No, it's not left.
And Zagrin, of the group, you are the only one that has felt that before, right? That is that divine presence that has driven this life and many before it. You had, at least briefly, the full attention of the Luxon. Or at least at the attention of Luxon. It was about full, right?
Zagrin will look one more time, like over his shoulder at the ash, and then to the group, and well, none of us can afford to lose anyone else at this point. And I know we're in no condition to press forward. I don't know if this place is safe. I mean, it looks like there's portals to other worlds surrounding us. Any ideas on how we can move on?
Can I look at the map that's... Can I look at the maps?
Yeah, absolutely.
More thoroughly now and start trying to make out, even if I can't... You know how like when you see a language written and you don't know what it says, but you can kind of identify what the language might be? Is there any way...
Yeah, roll me an Arcana check.
Elspeth Pat, guarantee of excellence. All right, Arcana. 19. Not super amazing.
You've seen this writing before. This is infernal. This is the language of the hells and of devils.
Anyone speak infernal?
No, not my type to deal with.
Yeah, me either. The parts in Talcuri that I can make out, like, can I triangulate where we might be in regards to like where we're going, or is there anything written on the maps that might indicate upcoming problems? Like spider den here, demon horde here with like a little cartoony arrow. You are here, underlined.
You know,
Skull
so
and crossbones.
you can see a couple things, especially in the one that has the city in a more current view, right? You can see some of the landmarks, like getting a sense of it. You can see some of the landmarks from the city, right? And you can see a couple things that look more like the big citadels that you saw, right? So there were those two fairly significant citadels within the city. There's clearly that garden area, right? There's clearly that big garden area that you saw in the center. Getting your sense of it, you can see this place where you are now. You can see this like domed structure with some notes about it. But yeah, that's it's a good like top down view of it, but really that's about it.
And there's no indication about like, even if is there places that like have writing, even if I can't understand it, that like might be points of interest on the map other than the citadels, or is it just kind of the citadels?
So the two citadels, the things that seem like points of interest that you can see on the surface level is there are the two citadels. There's the garden area. There's that overlook that you were in. There's that dome building. It clearly has a bunch of stuff written about it, and there are a couple what look like crevices or places where the city has split, with a bunch of writing there.
All right. And in this room, how many like exits and doors and stuff are there?
Aside from the one that so there was one hidden to one of those alcoves. There's a couple of these higher alcoves, right? There's 4, in fact, around the main chamber. There's 4 of those. That said, like as far as you can tell, they just lead up into the alcove unless there's more of these hidden entrances. And then there is a main entrance out of here. There's a main entrance out of here that you can see. Oh no, sorry, there are 2 big entrance. Nope, sorry. Yep. Going back, 1 main entrance out of here. 1 main entrance out of here that you can view.
And the treasure, there's a treasure chest in the room?
There is a treasure chest in the room.
I'm going to go down and
there's that cage that's on the... So they're on the table. It's actually a really nice and very big table in here, right? On the table, there are a couple things, right? Like there is a spyglass. There is this cage. There's like a very ornate looking dagger. There's a very ornate looking dagger and what looked like a couple very nice precious gems. And then there's this super gilded and fancy looking cage. As you get a little bit closer to the cage, you can tell that it's got like writing, very tiny writing into the metal of the bars.
Can I take a Kit? She'll like glance back at the ash and just almost like wince. Can you come over here for a second?
Okay. What's up?
Do you think you could see if this has any sort of devices that might activate if I open it?
Of course. Sure. She'll just check for any traps or anything.
Yeah, great.
I'll give her the Elspeth Pack guarantee of excellence.
You can actually tell without needing to roll. So there is no mundane trap there. Whether there are magical traps or not is an entirely separate thing. This thing is certainly a magical thing, Essie. You can tell that already.
I don't see any normal traps, but that's all I can tell.
Can I like try to ascertain if there's any arcane, like anything on it? Any
how would you
like
choose
runes
to do that?
or?
Oh, there's
like,
definitely runes on it for sure.
Okay.
While you're doing that, Kit's just gonna go back over and sit cross-legged by the ashes. And she's just looking at them, kind of not really looking, but looking. And she'll see something and reach out and pick it up. It's the what does it look like? It's just a
So it's a small metal eye, small metal eye with grooves in it, as well as a number of runes. As you touch it, it's still hot to the touch, right? And you can feel it. You can feel it burn your hand a little bit. But it is other sight that that strange metallic eye that Seleus had put into his head.
Okay, I'll just kind of look down at it, wrap it in a little cloth, and put it in my pocket.
I think Essie would dig into her bag and she would take out that like little locksmithing device, and she would put it onto the fancy chest, and it would like almost whir and dig into it a little bit, and she'd spin a couple dials and infuse it, and she would just do dispel magic on the ornate
On the chest or
it's-
the okay. Yep, no
on
problem.
the chest itself, or like the lock, I guess, if that's more specific.
You can do it
just
on the whole
like-
chest. It'll be
just like-
inclusive of everything on it.
The device would like whir and come to life almost as if it was like searching for the right frequency to pop and disperse the magic if there is any.
Yes, you can see the effect around the cage, around the chest, right? And there is as it goes, you see this symbol, this infernal symbol appear in the air over the cage and dissipate. Not hearing you.
Oh, then she'd open the chest.
Yeah, she opened the chest, and it looks like there's a lot of shit in here. It looks like there's, jeweled cups and, gems and gold and silver and copper and, a bunch of stuff in there. This looks like somebody's been looting, things in the city and gathering them. If you brought one, y'all couldn't reasonably carry this chest with where you're at, right? Like it's just really friggin' heavy. But this is more than enough treasure to make this trip worthwhile. Like it's loaded with shit.
I think
Says
she would start putting it into the bag of holding, but
You can't put all this treasure in your bag of holding.
Can I put a good bit of it in
You
there?
you could fill up your bag of holding with precious treasure here, right? There is more than you can bring in one bag of holding.
How's everybody's backpacks look?
I'm not the best at carrying, but I'll take what I can, I suppose.
Yeah, she'd start putting it into
So what
her
it is,
regular
right? Like
backpack.
it's not super well organized, right? It's not super well organized, but there's coins, there's jewelry, there is just precious items and little kind of artistic pieces. There is there are a number of things that look like spell scrolls. There's a bandolier of healing potions in there, right? Looks like it's 8 potions of healing. And some other things as well. You found yourself a little treasure hoard.
I'll definitely take the spell scrolls and the healing potions for sure.
Okay.
Distribute
Do you want
them.
to take some time to go through this treasure and kind of catalog it a little bit?
Could we do like a short rest while we pour through the treasure for an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I think during that time too, she's just gonna walk up to Zagrin, but not look at him. Is there some reason to leave the ashes behind? Or would it be alright if we took him along with us?
No, that's okay. I just didn't want his remains to be a liability, but I think it's even more fitting if we don't leave a trace.
Should just take time, and I'm sure there's I'm sure with her supplies, she's got something that she could put his ashes into, or she could find something. But she would definitely like take his ashes and put them into something and carry them with her.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a really fine purse in the bag. It looks like it's made out of a very fancy leather, and it's fur lined. If you want to, you could certainly put Selais's ashes in that.
Here you go, living in luxury. She'll scoff.
If there was ever a word I could use to describe Celeste, it would be flashy, maybe gaudy, right?
Yeah. And when she would have taken her device to like dispel the magic from that chest, I think she would have said something like under her breath, like, "Oh, well, this device works, huh?" Like almost bitterly. But yeah, she'll take the hour to catalog spell scrolls and everything. Do her best.
Yeah. So, what are you trying to do? You're trying to are you counting the treasure? Are you identifying things? What's
I'll
the...
initially cast Identify on the spell scrolls.
Okay.
And then just catalog the amount of everything if possible.
Yeah, while she's dealing with like the more like items, I'll just be like sort of separating out gold from silver, like throwing the copper away. Like there's no room for that, and I'll just try to help like organize the pile a little bit more to help.
Okay. Okay, great. Cool. So you've got a couple spells in there. You have a spell. You have a spell called Incendiary Cloud, and you have a spell scroll of the spell Sunburst. You have, among other things, there's 1,243 platinum pieces in this collection. There is thousands of gold coins, right? There's thousands of gold coins, in excess of 8,000 gold coins among this collection, in addition to like a number of artifacts and items whose value and worth are hard to calculate, right? But there's over 50 precious stones. There is a lot of really fancy like pieces of jeweled stuff, right? Like random bits of like jeweled artwork, basically.
All right. Yeah. She'll just portion it out. I think she'd start making, like in her mind, she'd just keep busy, portion everything out into fourths. I think she'll make 5 piles and then just kind of like stare at the 5th pile.
There's a really nice crown in here, like a really nice crown. Looks like it's made of like platinum and gold, and it's got a big old gem in it. Right, this is going to be worth a lot of money. And the style of all these artifacts is clearly Aorn.
Yeah, she'll portion it out into 5ths and then kind of wince and take the 5th back and then redistribute that into the other piles.
Kit's she's not really participating in the treasure sorting, but she's sitting there and Murdo's on her shoulder, and she's just kind of like talking to Murdo, but like not talking out loud, just like in her head, I guess. Murdo, I don't know if you can really understand me, but do you know how to Speak to the dead?
There's a Gah, gah.
Do I get a sense of what that means?
You get like a nice feeling from Murdo, right? You get a nice feeling from Murdo, and that he's clearly happy to be back with you, right? Like you can sense that, right? You also, as you begin trying to communicate with him, right? Like you can feel like a pressure on your mind, as you can almost feel images trying to come through.
What are you showing me, Myrtle?
You want to try and open yourself to this? Yeah. As you do so, you see flashes of things. Among them, you see those old cisterns in which you used to live, and down below you can see Jack with some of your crew, right? You see Jack with some of your crew, and you can feel almost as if you're there, but you know it's not you, right? It's not you, and you see the person, or you see Jack, and you can sense someone like looking down, and you see a figure in that clothing you saw when you saw Murdo in the graveyard, right? That same clothing that they were wearing at that point, right? You have more flashes. You have more flashes of Jack and some of the other crows in the city. A city that looks in some ways the same as the one you left, but in many ways different, right? One that is clearly much more militarized, than when you left, right? And there are a few different scenes with Jack, including one, the last one that you see, right, is Jack in an alley, right, with figures blocking each entrance, and a woman in the alley with him, a large, like 6 foot, muscled, heavily armored woman, with a big scar across her face, and very close cropped, largely gray hair, walking over towards him. And from that image, you can feel a sudden sense of disconnection, confusion, right, from Murdo.
Myrtle, what happened? What was that?
You get a feeling back, Kit, a feeling of like impatience or urgency coming from Murdo, but like the direction is unclear.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. We're so far away. Thank you for showing me. I think we have some things to finish here, though. She'll just kind of sit with her head in her hands and wait for, I guess, them to finish sorting through the treasure.
Okay. Essie, as you're going through, are you trying to learn more about this bird cage also, or this cage?
I would say it seems important. I'd probably identify that as well, or chili cast it.
Yeah. So the cage isn't like super clear, but I can tell you what it does. Right. Like this is almost a like a planar binding. Right. Like this cage, when sealed, prevents planar shifting, right? Like it is clearly meant to keep whatever is inside from escaping via another realm, right? And roll me an Arcana check to see if we can get any more than that.
Elspeth Pike, guarantee of excellence. Uh, 9. 18.
You get a sense that this thing is specifically guarded against things traversing, to and from the near material planes, the realms of shadow and fairy.
All right, and how big is the cage?
About 4 feet tall, about 2 feet in diameter.
So we could shove the warlock in here.
It'd be
Right?
tight. It's the hole to get him in isn't that big, so that would be he wouldn't make it through that.
We could chop him up a bit.
You could chop him up and put him in for sure.
I'm digging that idea for sure.
Yeah, we don't care if like just his arm goes back to the Shadow Realm or whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, just chop his arms off, shove him in. All right. Looking around the room, I'm gonna just take a little bit of time in the room to see if there's any like secret entrances or anything outside of the one that we found.
Sure. How long are y'all going to spend in here? You're going to do some serious investigating? Like, how long are you thinking to dead? So, when you're going to be searching for secrets, here's the deal. You've got a fairly big room with fairly large room with the 4 alcoves up above, right? You also have, the 8 chambers that come off, and then the 9th chamber that seems to lead into the rest of it, right? So with that, right? With that, are we searching other alcoves because that's where you found your secret chamber? Are you searching that kind of entrance exit area? Are you searching the ritual areas?
I would say like in the other alcoves, I would just check quick the place that mirrors, like the place that we came in the secret entrance mirrored in the other alcoves. I'll just do a quick check to see if there's any additional ones or if this was the only one.
Yeah, okay. And how are we looking?
How am I looking? With my eyes, I think
Great.
probably. Let's see. Do I have any extra anything? Sure don't prepared. So I'll be tapping. I'll have a little hammer. I'll be tapping looking for hollow zones.
Okay. Okay. Let's get me an investigation.
Elspeth Pat, guarantee of excellence. Okay, that's good. 27.
Okay. Okay. In the first alcove, you don't find anything, but in the second, you do find something. There is a bit of that same space where a door could reasonably be, and in fact, you can feel a little bit of an outline as you're checking.
I'm gonna try to get into it, and if there's no way to, I'll press around for different things, and if push comes to shove, I'll grab my crowbar and start trying to yoink it out.
What was your investigation check?
27.
Okay, yeah, you find a hidden lever under one of the seats in the alcove. Yep, very similar to what you saw before.
I'll light up my musket. And
As you're beginning to go around, the spider, or turns out as you got up from where you were, and as you're opening this thing, you notice for the first time the spider is no longer with you.
and I didn't notice it leaving. Hopefully I made friends good enough. I'll just kind of like my musket illuminates with bright light, and I'll just kind of take a peek down.
Yeah, it looks like another one of those brick hallways. Very similar to the one that you went through, this time going in a different direction, however. And it looks like the staircase here, instead of going down, go up.
And is up where we're trying to get to?
Up is towards that building.
So probably.
Potentially, however, this is clearly part of that same complex. So depending on what you're looking for, right, like may or may not.
I found another hidden passage. Looks like it goes up.
Oh, one more thing. Inside the treasure was a fine suit of very light chain armor. I see that you can identify as elven chainmail.
Nice. Elven chainmail. All right. I'll just still say, like, hey, I found this place.
Zagrin, as you're looking around, sorry,
That's
really
okay.
bad timing. Zagrin, as you're there and looking around, you see in the entryway, like towards wherever that goes, you can see that spider that was on Essie. You can see that spider that was on Essie waiting. There's like a little table there.
It's on the table. The spider is. Yeah, I'll walk up to it. Kind of. Never really looked at you too closely before, and I kind of like squint and get up real close to the spider and try to just look at it. Whatever it's near.
As you begin getting closer, that figure of that woman appears again in front of you. And appears again in front of you, and as she sees you leaning down, or looks at you leaning down, like crouches down and like looks at you. Crouches down and looks at you.
And I kind of try to play charades with it a bit, and I kind of like look around the room, shrug.
The figure begins in a halting and like kind of a rough pronunciation way. Begins trying to say something, and as you're listening, it sounds like it's pretty bad. A pretty bad impression of common. So they're hard to understand, but they are trying to speak to you in common.
Slow down.
And they lean in and they say, "We'll be right back in 10 minutes. We'll be right back in 10 minutes."
I knew it. Why did I think anything else was going to happen?
Folks, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll join you again in 10 minutes, and can't wait to see you for the back half of this episode. All right, see you all in a bit. Break. There we go. Break. one. Okay, folks, we're back. Hello, welcome. That may not have been 10 minutes, but you know what? Who can wait? Not me. Not me, because I want to see what's going on next. Let me actually turn on the desktop audio so you can actually hear the other people. Hello, crew.
That's us.
Hello.
We're the other people.
No one wants to
Yeah.
hear us. We
Yeah.
don't have anything interesting to say.
We're speculating about what's happening next. Well, they're speculating.
We're going to need somebody who's either really strong or really good at, I don't know, healing or something.
Why would we change the dynamics now?
We
We're
just
so
need
used to
wimpy
being
people.
the weak crew.
I think that's what you're gonna get as a strong healer. I think that's likely
Yeah, let's go.
true.
Buff healer.
Yep.
Starting the paladin rumors.
Yep.
Oh, starting the
Ooh,
paladin
okay,
rumors. Okay, I dig it. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be another holy person, and Essie's gonna be like, "Fuck the gods." I hate those things.
Exactly. I feel like that's
Oh.
very likely. So,
Listen, she wasn't a fan. I mean, she was kind of indifferent. Now she's really not a fan.
okay. Okay, well, folks, let's actually get back to the action. Hello. Welcome back from the break. Let's keep going. Let's do some things I forgot to do at the beginning because again, I'm emotionally overwhelmed here. But we're gonna get to doing it. So first off, I want to say some thank yous. I want to say thank you to everybody out there watching. Appreciate you spending some time with us. Again, I would keep playing this game if we weren't making the show because I'm really having a great time. But it's very cool to be able to share it with you. So thanks so much for joining us. Join us for the first time. Thanks. If you come back on a regular basis, really appreciate you. It's been great to share this experience with you. I want to say thank you to these awesome players who actually make the game and make the stories with their characters. I was talking about this today, with a friend of mine that like, in this sort of game, like the loss of a character, is lost in the story because the story is built around y'all's characters, right? Like if you're enjoying what we're doing, right, remember that it only comes into being because of the characters that y'all made. So, thank you for that, for your creativity and for constantly inspiring us to do, more interesting things. I want to say thank you to the folks over at Tabletop Audio who make the awesome music that we get to use every single time we play, and that I use in all sorts of other circumstances. I use it now when I prep. I've probably been doing that for a while, but I like prepping and listening to spooky music at the same time. Really getting the mindset. I want to say thank you to the awesome community of 5e creators who make really cool things. Like if you were aware, in the last fight we used some minions, which are a thing out of MCDM's Flea Mortals book. We're also converting one of the NPCs in the party into a retainer, which is another thing from that book. But there's like a lot of really cool stuff out there in your community. Go check out some non-Wizards of the Coast publishers because it's got some pretty cool. They got some pretty cool things out there. And then thank you to people in that community for making stuff. Any other thank yous we want to do that I'm forgetting? All right.
Thank you to Jason.
Oh shit, I love that.
For putting together this awesome campaign and putting up with our bullshit. So yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome. It's some great bullshit. All right. So with that, let's hop right back into the episode. So Zagrin, you're there. Kit, where are you at this point? Are you with Essie? Are you kind of down in the area? What did you do with that eyeball? You just put it in a pocket?
I put it in my pocket. I think I'm just going to be like sitting cross-legged by the ashes, or where they were, because I know they gathered up the ashes and put them in a bottle, but just like sitting there until someone comes and gets me with Murdo on my shoulder, or he's probably hopping around on the ground doing what birds do. I don't know, pecking at things.
Great. Murdo's very is very solemn, right? Like he's just sitting there. He's being being very calm. He's being very calm. Doesn't want to go near that cage. Doesn't seem to want to go near that cage.
Can't blame him.
And as he's there with you, you can feel like a coolness, right? Like descend over you, right? Like almost
I'm
like
so cool.
a deadening of the sharper edges of your emotions.
Oh, not
right?
that kind of cool. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And like a literal bit of a chill, right? Almost as if he brings with him a little bit of that like chill of a graveyard at night kind of thing.
Speaking of that, I still have that book, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll just like kind of have that out. I can't really read very well yet. I know Essie was like teaching me some stuff, but I'm just like, I'm probably like looking at it upside down or something, but I'm like looking through it and just chilling there.
Great. All right. So Essie, looking up, so you see stairs going up, and you call out to the others. At the same time that Essie's calling out Zagrin, you can hear this. You can hear this figure beginning to speak, and some of the words that you're catching are in common. It doesn't look like it's all there yet, but it seems like some amount of what she's saying is in common. So it's like she's blending sentences between common and whatever language that she is speaking.
I got the, from, and of. I can't quite piece it together.
Is everything all right over there?
I decided to take a page out of your book and try to converse with our watcher here.
I think I'll come walking back. What did she say?
The something 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 of something something from, I believe. It could have been fortuitous. Hard to tell.
Can you repeat it?
So the woman, like the figure, looks over at Essie as she comes down, and she looks back at Zagrin. She looks back at Zagrin, and she leans back and she pauses. And you see she takes a deep breath and she goes, she says a little bit again in Tel Curry, and then she goes, eat.
Zagrin nods.
Understand? Eat.
Yeah. Eat what? You need to eat or we need to eat?
I'll like go into my bag and grab just some ration, and I'm gonna break it in half and like start eating half and start handing half towards the spider.
Or something's gonna eat us? Something's gonna eat the world? A god eater? A city eater?
Goes, more. And then she says a word. She says a word that sounds a lot like speak in Tel Curry.
Oh, if you need us to... Oh, wait, I don't speak Tel Curry. I didn't get...
I think if I'm understanding it right, I think she's trying to say speak. But I don't... Do we need to get out of here?
Speak. More speak.
Speaking is something I'm actually quite good at. If you just need me to talk to you, then I suppose I could instill whatever of bits of my vocabulary upon you that I might be able to conjure.
I'll look at her and
Is this helpful at all?
Should we be going up? I found another secret entrance. Or then I'll point towards the door.
Closer.
Closer to the door or the secret entrance? I don't suppose you can hold a pen, an inkwell, with your spectral hands, huh?
Words. More speak. Closer.
Are people coming closer? People speaking? think the music. Does anyone else hear that?
Oh, sorry.
We gotta get out of here.
Doesn't fit. Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that.
I think she's saying that somebody's speaking like, but they're beatboxing and it's getting a little intense. We gotta get out of
All right.
here. That's
All
what
right.
that's what my interpretation personally is.
That's why you don't have players in your games. You know, they ruin everything. Yeah. Okay. So she. Yeah, that really was off.
It was. I was like, oh,
I mean, like,
boy,
you
we
keep
gotta get out of
building,
here.
and it's like, we gotta do something now.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And she looks at both of you, and she looks over at Kit. She looks over at Kit, and then disappears. And you see the spider like crawl onto the wall and down it, and begin crawling like fairly quickly over to Kit, like off-puttingly quickly over towards Kit.
It's all right. It's not been hurting me.
Kit, as you're sitting there, you see this like spider, probably like, that big around, like crawling towards you really quickly.
Hello?
As it gets closer to you, again, that projection comes out, and it leans over you, and it looks down at the book that you're reading. And
I'll just
and then
hold it
looks
up.
up at you.
I can't really make it out much myself. Not the best with words, but
Closer, more words. Turn
turn the page. Turn the page.
Turn.
Turn the page. Okay.
And then she keeps indicating more and more. And as that happens, the language becomes clearer from this figure.
Okay.
Do you understand? Do you understand me?
Wait,
Yes,
she needs
I do.
to hear more words. Is that what you're
More
trying
words.
to say?
Trying to
You-
conjure bits of my vocabulary to feed her.
Zagrin, you can actually be helpful with that for once.
Oh, I'll just show her like as much as I can of the book.
Yeah.
I'll just like alphabetically start listing words.
Are you learning? You're learning our language like in real time.
Yes. I'm learning your words.
How are you doing that? And can you teach it to me? Because that would be amazing.
Who are you?
Who are you? And what are you doing here?
Well, I'm Elspeth Pike. And then she'll kind of look around at everybody.
I'm Kit.
Zagrin Beltune, and we come here seeking a holy relic that has been buried.
I came to learn more about your city, and once I saw the time bubbles, I thought maybe I could help folks from the city.
I see. And what brings you to my armory?
Well, we were trying to find a safe place, and quite honestly, anything that could help us down here, that could help us with those suits of armor look pretty helpful.
You come looking for weapons.
Only if it keeps us alive right now.
She looks down meaningfully at the spot where Sileus was. She goes, I think perhaps we can aid one another. You are not of the people here, yet you are similar.
We're likely descendants of folks that maybe made it out alive of that era during the calamity. we're still trying to piece together exactly what happened. But it was only recently we learned about this city, the ruins. We're trying to not repeat history and maybe save the world from a demon invasion.
These infernals. More of them.
Kit saw a couple visions of an army destroying our homes.
So you've come to my facility looking for weapons.
Investigating the source of this army. She'll look pointedly around like the summoning circles and things. The source. And if we can find something that helps. Yes.
She flickers in and out. She flickers in and out of existence. She flickers in and out of existence, and she pops back up, and she looks over at you all, and she goes, "This, my creature, is limited in what it can see and show you. Come to my chamber. Let me lay eyes upon you, and we may speak more. If it is weapons you seek, this facility has many, and I can aid you if you will aid me."
Guys?
And as she does that, she disappears again, and the spider goes crawling over to that entrance in the main area.
I think we should follow. What do you guys think?
I think we have little to lose at this point, and if there's any sort of aid that can be offered, I imagine it's in our interest to gather as much resources as we can at this point.
All right.
Did we get a short rest? Sorry. We did. Okay.
She may know how to navigate towards the beacon and maybe even a way out of here. Even if we were to secure it at this point, I'm not sure exactly what our exit plan is, considering the haphazard way we made our way down this far. Even if she can offer only knowledge, I think it's a good resource for us at this point. If she offers us any kind of arms, all the better.
All right. I think Essie would visibly wince when he talks about the beacon. And then I'll just walk towards where the spider woman indicated to go.
Yeah, so the spider goes back over to that table. The spider goes back over to that table and crawls up onto the wall.
Are we supposed to follow it?
As you get closer, you can see this section of the wall by the table seems to have a joint that doesn't make any sense.
All right. Hold up. I got this. I'll try to find the lever.
Yeah. Looking through, there's a little latch under the table which allows that section to swing through, and you find yourself in a very dark and dusty hallway. And the spider goes, and as you do it, tries to crawl back onto your neck.
I'll let it. I was even going to be like, come on, friend. Hitch a ride.
Yeah.
So I think I would have just kind of, without even thinking, put my hand and arm out for it to crawl onto me.
Yeah, the stone is much rougher here, not that like smooth brick that you've seen before, but instead a very yeah, just a very like rough raw stone. As you head in, however, you can see that not far there is like a luminescence to parts of the tunnel, like it's lit with almost this blue light.
As the others are leaving, just Kit's kind of lingering behind, and in the ashes, in the little remaining dust of the ashes, she's just gonna draw like the thieves' can't symbol for friend, and then she's just gonna take one last look and then follow.
Very cool. Okay. As y'all begin heading down as this area does slope down, you find so that the area's got like this kind of blue glow to it as you see some crystals in the wall that seem to be emitting light. It's also somewhat damp. You go a little bit further down, and it opens into a larger chamber, and there's a pool of water, and in the center of the pool of water, you see a small island, with a stone altar on it. The tunnel looks like it continues on the far side of this pool of water.
All right, little friend, are we going to the altar or beyond? I'll start walking up. The altar's on a little island?
There's this pool of water. It looks like it's probably 100 feet across, if not more, right? And in the center is this little like stone island, or like a dirt island with a stone altar upon it.
I'll activate my boots of flying, my winged boots, and I'll just make it over there and then drop down by the altar.
Yeah, great. Zagrin and Kit?
I'll have cast dancing lights so Calamity can see. Because we're not being particularly stealthy right now, and then I'm just kind of like looking over to see what SE sees.
Yeah, so there's no way to get across here without going through the water, right, for the rest of you. Like, there's no like pathway around. As Zegrin's dancing lights go off, no, it doesn't look particularly deep. It's not more than mid-thigh height. It's going to be deep for Calamity, however. Just looking, anybody
She
up
can
for a ride?
She can climb up on my shoulders.
There we go. Thanks, Kit.
I like to think that Kit plus Calamity is about as tall as Zagrin. Like, he's like really, really tall and they're both...
Probably not even.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Walk
So
in.
you wait through. Essie, as you get there a little bit before everybody else, there is an altar, and on the altar you see a couple things, right? Like, on the altar there's a number of pieces of paper. There's a number of pieces of paper there, and beside the altar, leaned up against it, is this staff, right? So there's this, I don't know, like a fairly long staff, and at the head of the staff there's this series of mechanisms that seem to spin around this central crystal, like gyroscope kind of things.
I'm gonna touch it. For sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab it. 100%.
YOLO.
Can't dangle that in front of me.
Yeah,
I'll
great.
grab
You grab the staff, and you can feel it resonating with magical power, right? Almost as if it's almost as if it's seeking to connect with you. You believe that you could reach out and connect with this thing.
I'm vulnerable and sad. Sure, I'll do it. Why not? What do you got
The
to show
D&D
me?
equivalent of dyeing your hair. Reach out to some
Literally.
random magic cursed, potentially cursed object.
I know.
Yeah, you begin to, and other folks, as you see Essie doing this, right? You begin to get closer, right? And like I said, you've got this island with some rocks and some dirt. You've got this stone altar, and then on the stone altar are a number of notes, and you can see Essie examining the staff. Zagrin, you can see this as you get a little bit closer. The notes seem to be written in like the common tongue, right? Like that tongue that you see the many folk using in many different places. But the style seems like archaic.
I'll look over them, and particularly I want to try to see if, from what I can tell, it's spoken in archaic style. Would it match that the two demons were, or the two devils or cambions or whatever were using, how they were speaking very antiquated?
They were speaking very antiquated. No, not
Or
like
using,
not the same style. Not
Okay.
the same style, but a similar style. So Essie, as you begin reaching out to this, right? As you begin reaching out to this staff, you can feel something. You can feel something pulling at you, right? At first, it's not too heavy, but then there's this terrible pulling sensation as you fade entirely. As you guys watching, you see Essie disappear or vanish, almost being pulled into the staff, and standing where Essie was standing, you see a figure who I'm gonna let introduce himself. Mike, do you wanna tell me who they see standing there at the staff?
Yeah, you see this like almost emaciated older man he's bald, he's got a big long beard, he's wearing this like red toga, and he barely looks like he can stand, and he stands there for a few moments and goes, oh, joyous day, and he's looking around, and the first person he sees, I guess, is a Kit. He's like, I know not who you are, but I am eternally grateful. Thank you. Thank you. How did you do it?
What did you do with my friend? She just
your friend?
disappeared, and you appeared where she was standing. She's gonna kind of like walk towards him a little aggressively.
Oh, he's right in your face.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Your friend. He turns around. Oh, he sees the staff. Oh dear.
Explain yourself.
She's gonna grab him like by his lapels or whatever he's wearing, his cloak. His toga. Grab him by the toga. What did you do with her?
I don't know what you mean. Please, it's been a long time since I've used my muscles. I'm afraid
this is our buff
your
healer
friend is
right here.
I'm afraid your friend is in the astral realm. I'm sorry. It was my prison for. What time is this? Where are we?
Kit's gonna just like push the guy down and like
Oh,
just like on top of this guy, like, you take it back. You go back there.
I will not.
She's gonna take her dagger out and like hold it up against this guy's neck.
Please, child.
Take it back.
I don't. It's actually a little more complicated than that. Please, lower your weapon.
No, not until you tell me what happened. She'll press it in a little harder.
He moves his hand a little bit. And you might have to make... just let me verify something.
I can't
here.
believe I'm missing this.
I know, it was very cool.
Oh my god, we're gonna have an Eorzean wizard in the party.
You have to make a strength roll.
Oh,
Save
fabulous.
DC 17.
Great. That was a 16. I think -1. Yeah, so 15.
Yeah, you are moved up into the air about 20 feet, and he's just holding his hand out. He's like,
Please, I don't want to hurt you. I can explain everything.
You see the small halfling, Mike. Your character sees this small halfling, like her eyes start to burn, and you can see fire pull into her hands. And she goes, "It'd probably be a good idea to put her down real gently."
As you wish. But allow me to speak.
Quickly.
Right. There you go.
and yeah, you come to the ground gently.
The staff, you see. I found it while I was investigating the Aeoran ruins. It was my only way out, you see. It has the ability to teleport one's self to a location previously determined, but I ended up becoming trapped. It was the astral sea. I had been there for... I don't really know. But there is a way to get your friend back.
Do it. Right now.
Yes.
He goes over to the staff and he picks it up. He goes, hesitates a bit.
Kit's holding her dagger, like, ready to do something.
He lifts it up and goes, and he smashes it on the ground. He smashes the head and he breaks the clockwork bit over the altar.
As it crashes into the altar, there is this flash of light. There's this flash of light, and you're all set stumbling back. And Essie, you find yourself materialized there over the altar, seeing, your companions kind of stumbling back. You were teleported somewhere, right? You were teleported somewhere into a very strange and empty place. And you were there with the spider, weirdly enough. But it's back.
Cool.
Spider Bros. I think, do I see this bald character in front of me?
Well, now you see this. Yeah, you see this scene with everybody there, right?
What the hell? And she's just gonna quick draw her pistol and point it right at him.
Yeah, he appears like he's not even paying attention. He's just looking at the broken parts of the staff. And he's like,
I never really liked that thing anyway.
Who the
Cursed
hell are
thing.
you? Kit, Zagrin, you alright?
Kit's rushing over to you.
Oh.
You disappeared?
Yeah, I was floating.
Oh, are you okay?
Me
What
and
happened?
James here. We were...
James. How long were you gone?
How long was I gone? A couple minutes?
Moments,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. A couple minutes, maybe? Who is this Joker?
Yeah, he looks at you.
I am sorry, young lady. I wouldn't wish for anyone to spend a few moments in there, let alone thousands of years.
Who are you? I don't know why that just became British. Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah, seems like a simple question.
One moment, please.
And he takes out a little thing from his loincloth. You kind of don't really know where it would fit. But it's a tiny little wooden thing, and he goes, and this chest appears in front of him. And he goes over to it. And he lifts it up and he starts rummaging through it.
Wait,
And he takes out
that's pretty cool, actually.
He takes out this book that's kind of like a thin spell book with a symbol on it, similar to the staff, but not really, like some esoteric runes and circles and stuff. And then he grabs a couple other things, like a few scrolls, and then stands up and kind of kicks it with his foot, and it closes and vanishes.
He's like, my name, yes.
You need a
Give me a
You
second.
need a spell book to find your name?
Yeah, and he starts looking at it.
Oh, yes. I remember now. Osmo Figmentarius.
Osmo Figmentarius?
Sorry.
Okay.
It's Oh, I think I spelled it wrong.
You spelled your own
Osmond-
character's name wrong. You're in character right now.
Yeah, I know. His name is Osmondary Figmentarius. Yes.
But folks, people call me Figment. I remember this.
Figment of your imagination?
Somewhat like that, yes.
Have I-
Who are you in strangely dressed individuals?
This is highly stylish.
I wasn't referring to you. I was referring to is that Tweed?
Yes! Yes, listen, that's not the style, all right? Like that is kind of she's an outlier.
Absolutely is the style. I think you could use them. You look a bit cool, actually.
I'll have to take your word for it. I've sort of been away.
Did we just become best friends right now? I think so. You've been away in the realm, in somewhere else?
Yes, I do need to sit down.
And he kind of sits on the altar.
Haven't used my muscles in a long time.
And he starts manipulating the front of the book, and you see the symbols kind of glow and then become two-dimensional in terms of being almost like pulls the symbols up and they kind of float around.
You go by Figment?
Hello, friend. Yes, easier to say. Rolls off the tongue.
I mean, I can say Osmondary Figmentarius if you prefer that.
Figment should be fine.
As a side note, have I ever heard of this name before? Is this like some whack job, nothing?
No, don't bother searching your memory. I can see you thinking. I was from a long order called the... have you ever heard of the Coverless Tome?
I absolutely have not, which is kind of
roll me
interesting.
a history check, actually.
Oh,
Essie.
okay,
I would love
all
that.
right,
Mhm.
all right.
Kit's watching this guy very
this is good.
closely. Like he's doing all this stuff. Kit has not put her dagger away. Like she's watching him.
24.
So close. You think you've heard of it?
Oh no! It was a
Your mom
25.
might have. If you get a chance to write her, she may have something. Maybe your grandparents, they were big history buffs.
I mean, my mother might have heard of. She specializes in. I specialize more in the archaeology aspect and more like the cartography aspect of No, I don't. I feel like I should, but no.
Cartography. What sort of do you know much about the Aeoran landmass and its collapse?
As much as there is to know in the current day.
Well, interesting, because as I came down, it was what brought me here in the first place. You see, I'm a member of the Lighthouse Chronologists. We document information, and we were studying the ancient Aeon ruins.
Okay, so you're from an order called the Cavernous Tome, but also the Lighthouse something? How many orders were you in?
The Lighthouse Chronologists are the keepers of the coverless tome. It's a tome, you see, that has no beginning nor end, and it holds, well, everything.
Okay. All right.
Yes, I know it's very difficult to understand. But
Listen, I feel like later we should unpack that, and I'd really be interested in learning everything you have to know about pretty much anything. But for now, when are you from?
Is there a year? Is there like a year I can say? Like what is that? What would that
so
year be?
you begin trying to compare dates, right? And Essie, what you pick up quickly is that Figment uses a different dating system than the one in use in your era. However, you get the impression that Figment is far out of his time, right? So you're gonna have to do some more digging to get the sync up right.
I'll be honest with you, Figment. Your calendar system, it doesn't exist anymore. The way you keep time, you've been gone for a very long time.
what year is this?
It is. Let's see. The last recorded something I have.
I may have it written down.
Is but this was a couple time skips ago, but
835 PD.
It's 835 PD post calamity.
Post calamity.
I'm assuming that's what that
H
means.
stands for.
You're gonna say post calamity.
Would he be able to piece that together where he is about?
No, again, like, you don't have a
what that
reference.
means.
As he's over here just spoiling history, she's like, "Has this happened yet? Oh, that's a good one. Has that happened yet? Oh yeah, that's gonna suck. Has this happened yet?"
The calamity is an event, Figment, that you know of, right? It was a serious event, that happened maybe 5,000 years ago.
To me.
To you, yes.
Yeah.
Essie, however,
convey
you're pretty sure the
that.
calamity happened upwards of 10,000 years ago.
Yeah. I convey that.
All
The
right.
calamity, 5,000 years.
It was more than 10,000 years now. I think you lost greater than 5,000 years, my friend. Which I probably should have told you over a pint of ale instead of here.
No place better than the present, I guess.
Did you look like this when you were adventuring, or did you age in the...
How old do you think I look?
Not a day over 89.
Yeah, I'm afraid I was late to the adventuring. One of the more braver members of our order, but still, I was seen as the most spry at the time.
You were the most spry of your order.
Yeah, at the time, yes.
Oh.
He casts another spell, and he says,
I don't like sitting on stone too much.
and you see him like very deftly do this hand maneuver, and in the corner of the room kind of materializes this like egg-shaped sphere that's just kind of like hovering there. You ever see Flight of the Navigator? That ship that's like chrome and it's got the ridges on it. Anyway. It looks like that. It's an egg shape, and he kind of like hobbles over to it, and it kind of turns, and it's hollowed out, and there's like a seat. It's just like a floating seat. He sits down with the broken pieces of the staff, and that symbol just kind of like follows him. The symbol that was on his spell book.
How'd you do that?
Oh, which part?
All of it?
Are you keen on the magical arts? I can tell
Arcane
by...
in nature, but I blend mechanical instruments with the more magical.
Yes, very peculiar. What sort of wand was that that you brandished earlier?
Lights out. This is my pistol. This is happy ending.
Oh.
Take her musket.
Peculiar. I would love to examine it at some time.
Chill. Maybe sometime.
If you want to know how I created this, give me a moment.
Starts ruffling around. He grabs one of the scrolls. He's like,
that should
Can
help
I-
you out in that.
Can I read whatever language is on here?
Yeah. So it is like an archaic form of the common tongue. Like, it's definitely a weird way of writing, but yeah.
Wow, I haven't seen writing like this in anything but really ancient texts, but I can still piece it together.
Contemporary texts for me, but I see that things are different now. Yes, that is a common spell. I believe it is known as a phantom steed. You could use this at some point, and there you go. And the mystical mount will appear and
And that's
serve you.
so point at the egg chair.
Yes, it's been tweaked a bit. The spell's been modified slightly. Now, if you wouldn't mind, who are you three for?
sorry, the small one.
She's easy to miss when she's hiding behind Zagrid. I'm Lady Elspeth Pike.
Elspeth Pike, yes.
Zagrin Beltune, exiled lord of the Krim dynasty.
Oh, I would love to find out what that is. And you, young lady, I'm very sorry.
She'll just kind of glare at him.
Yeah.
I'm Kit, and if you ever make my friend disappear again, I won't hesitate to use this. She'll hold up her blade.
Oh, yes, you would have every reason to. I would be seen as a villain, a monster. Yes, I assure you I am not. Merely an adventurer like yourselves, searching for knowledge.
What sort of knowledge were you seeking down here?
Well, we are in the apex of one of the wisest and wonderful advanced individuals of our time.
The society that lived here, Zagrin, they had advancements beyond anything that you can possibly imagine with their magical and mechanical means. The things that we've uncovered from here are, they could change the world if we could go back to the way things were before Aor fell.
If we knew a fraction of what they knew.
Seriously.
Come on.
I'm with you. Honestly, my family studied pre-calamity artifacts for my entire life. So,
Oh,
did you
interesting.
did you happen to see any of the suits of armor?
I did. Automatons.
Yes, automatons.
I have a quick schematic here. Was one of the final things I was. Where is
Really,
it now?
I I haven't had time to draw anything up. We've been fighting for our lives. You were able to draw something up.
Fighting for your lives?
And she'll just kind of like hesitate, and her face will just freeze.
What do you mean? What kind of dangers could be down here? There's nothing around but spiders and cobwebs.
There's a demon army. A devil army.
What's that you say?
Well, as you said, the technology here, enough to change the world, I believe was your words. Well, some infernal beings decided they would do just that with what lies down here.
Yeah. I should have suspected as such. Such a tempting power would lure anyone willing. I don't even want to think about that. And it's
How
true
capable are you at holding your own? We don't have any room to carry anyone who can't pull their own weight. Not a single step further.
Wait, we're not asking this guy to come with us.
She'll switch to like Elvin, and he could probably provide a lot of insight on the city, and he's got a lot of magical means. What he lacks in physical prowess, he probably makes up in the magical realm, the arcane.
I'm not looking for someone else. Soleus just died.
It's not a replacement.
It's not a... Yeah. I'm just saying...
I won't be a bother. He's responding in Elven. It's I simply must find. There is something down here, a great source of power. It is responsible for keeping these. I don't know if you've noticed the time, temporal stasis orbs that have. Littered the area. Yes, they're being held in existence by something that seems to be generating its very power. I intend to find it.
If we could turn it off, honestly, that would be extraordinary.
Indeed.
Not only could we learn so much, but these folks would probably help us dramatically against the army. She'll be like saying this to everybody.
Yes.
I think it's better to have them alone.
We said we needed resources. It seems that he has at least some to offer. Besides, I'm not sure how it is that we depart from here, and if he has any sort of accessibility, then we should make use of it.
Well, I did have a wonderful way of traversing the location, but as you can see, it is now in ruin.
And he holds up the broken part of the staff.
Yes. I'm sure it could be repaired.
I'm real handy at fixing things.
I'm afraid this would take some tremendous amount of power. Not that you don't possess that, young lady, but I believe something capable of keeping the stasis orbs in existence would be able to do that. Hence, I feel like if we find this...
We could repair the staff.
Potentially.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Indeed.
Oh,
This is also my way out.
Yeah. How do you feel about birds?
Lovely.
It's just like
Oh,
covers
ruined it.
Murdo's ears.
Well,
Don't
I
listen
thought
to
we were
her,
gonna
Murdo.
be- I thought we were gonna
Yeah,
be
he looks over. He looks over at Kit's bird. He's like,
Lovely creatures.
That's right. We like birds. As long as they don't have teeth.
I'll kind of lean in and I'll be like, I don't-
Calamity scratches
I don't really
under Yantha's chin.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She'll
You all seem to
say-
have pets.
Intel curry to him just to see if he'll. I don't really like birds. Just to see if he reacts or responds.
It's a language that you've got a good handle on the written form. The spoken's pretty rough for you, Figment.
yeah. I hear something birds. Yeah. Yes, you all seem to be intertwined with the avian at some point.
You could say that again.
All right. You mentioned a way out. I would like nothing more than to leave this place.
Not
This is
until we get what
wonderful.
we came for.
What is what?
We seek some of the treasure that might be buried deeper within power, as you mentioned, resources. We can, once we have secured what we need, then we can figure out an exit.
Very well. Honestly, I believe the only way out is through those means.
Well, then, if we're headed in the same direction, I don't see any reason we can't keep each other company for the meantime.
Yes, you must really tell me about this dynasty you speak of.
I'd love nothing more. But let us press
Yes.
forward.
Yeah, and the orb kind of like silently moves.
I think Essie would like trot over and just keep in movement with Figmund, and she just you wouldn't happen to have had any children, would you?
Unfortunately not, young lady.
You remind me of my grandpa.
Uh,
A lot, actually.
well, I don't know if is that a compliment?
Well, he don't remember much of anything anymore about his family. He doesn't really recognize us anymore, but he was my favorite person in the world. He is my favorite person in the world.
Oh, well, it must be nice to have family members around.
It is.
Here's that schematic I told you about.
Thank you. She'll take it and just like nose up to it, just put her little lenses down. That's amazing. And that power source, she'll like look up and like try to squint and then look back down at the paper.
Precisely. I imagine something much more powerful lies within these walls.
Yeah, it'd have to be a pretty significant power source to run one of these things.
Indeed.
Just chatter probably nonstop about Arcane.
Yeah, exactly.
As you continue going on the far side of this pool of water, as you continue going on the far side of this pool of water, Figment, I assume you take a second to collect those notes of yours that you had up on the altar.
Actually, probably not. He would have probably just started walking away until if someone was like, hey, or are those important? He was in the astral sea. Like, that was his life for thousands of years.
No worries.
He barely even knew about the staff, so.
Fair enough. So you guys start heading away, right? And it begins sloping up, and now you're starting to see the spider webs. And before long, this pathway opens into this much larger chamber. You find yourself walking into this room. It looks like a big cave, right? But in the far wall, you see what looks like a very heavy vault door. Inside this cave are a lot of spider webs and a lot of spiders. So it's a big room, like a big domed room. There is, hanging maybe 40 feet in the air, this like almost, you see a little bit of metal and a ton of spider web, right? But there's this sphere in the center of the room. There's this open space, and around the room there are thousands of spiders. Some small, some very large, right? Like some as larger than the ones you fought in the hallways before. They've got, as you get in there, Essie, the one from your neck like crawls down and jumps into the crowd. However, this path of spiders seems to open, And now we need a different song here. This path of spiders seems to open towards the center. And where is it? There we go.
Have
This
you
is a better song.
Did you meet any Spidermen in your time here?
Any what?
Figment? I was just talking to Figment. Did you meet any spiders that turned into women when you were traveling? I can't hear. Something seems to be obscuring you.
Sorry. No, I haven't. Are you referring to Driders or maybe
No.
an illusionary?
Sort of. I think she might have been a person from here. Do you hear that tempo increase? It don't sound good. Every once in a while I hear beatboxing.
As you see this path of spiders open up towards the center, there in the center of this chamber, you see that figure of that wizard, that Aoran wizard, appear again. Right? She is, now that you can see her much more clearly, here she doesn't look quite so ethereal. Right? She's got a shaved head. And she's tall, right? Looks to be almost 8 feet tall. And as she stands there, the spiders all keep their distance. And she turns her eyes towards you. So she's got these piercing gray eyes. She has these piercing gray eyes. She has fairly long fingernails. She's tall. She's slender. But she seems to move around that space with like a lot of physical confidence. Her robes are made with, fine silk with gold thread woven in, and yet even from here you can tell there's something ethereal about her. She steps towards you, and as she does, like the crowd of spiders kind of moves back away from her. And she goes, welcome to my chambers. I'm glad you've come. And I see you've brought someone new. She looks over at Figment.
Friends of yours?
Potentially. Is James still with me? Is my spider companion still with me?
He's jumped down into the crowd of spiders that is around you. And I mean crowd, like a massive crowd of spiders. And as you look up, there are spiders beginning to dangle from the ceiling down over top of you.
This doesn't seem good. Potentially. James, I thought we had something better than that.
Now you came seeking weapons, tools to use against your enemies. Is that right?
Yes, and you said that you required some assistance that we might be able to aid you with?
Yes. As you can see, and she gestures around the room, I have many mouths to feed. And this facility has seen better days. I would have your help in restoring it and in securing a food source for my children.
I don't suppose that you guys eat devils, do you? There's quite a bit of some fresh meat not too far back up from where we came from, if you'd like to have a snack while we talk.
It is meat that concerns me, Dark One, but I need meat to feed many mouths. Meat that can replenish itself.
Are you talking like a human population here that you're just gonna... Is that what you're talking about?
The the wizards of this place, they built facilities to create beings, create bodies. The facilities are inaccessible to my children. Now, creatures have kept us from being able to access it, but with your help, the facility could be restored and the creatures could be removed.
What sort of creatures are we talking about?
The
Do I know
beasts.
anything about this? A facility that makes.
So a couple things that you know, right, is that the Wizards of Aor did a lot of different things, including, and part of their fight against the gods, they created creatures. They created creatures and grew them somehow, right? That they used in these battles, and that they had access to. They had access to a tremendous amount of magic and technology. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold up, it's the creatures with the faces, the mouths on them. That's probably what's going on here, right? Like, because I found multiple places where there was like vats of these things. Right.
Could that be the incubation room that they're referring to?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Are you talking about like the creatures with mouths that scream and noise deadens around them? Is that what you're talking about?
There are things like you describe in there.
Are those
I
the
would-
creatures, or are those the meat that you're trying to eat?
I need those things that keep my children to be removed, and I need that portion of the facility restored.
I think that's probably doable.
In return, she turns and indicates that heavy door. In return, I can grant you access to some of the things created by the wizards and their servants.
And safe passage through the catacombs.
Yeah. And James, if he's so inclined to come with me, my friend, he's right there.
There is no safety to be had in this city other than that which you bring yourself or create. But do this for me, and my children will have no need to look for meat beyond what the facility provides.
I mean, there's a nice little camp waiting at the very top, right? I mean, maybe you could get some of them guys and then come back down. No, if a Figment doesn't know this.
I think we can figure something out. If you, would you be able to mark on the map where this is? Where these critters are?
I can
Or
show
point
you.
it out?
My children can show you.
I mean, we're real good at traversing if you just want to mark it on the map. That's actually what I do. I make maps, so I'm really good at.
If you've done a map of your place in the facility, she can show you, like where you've gone in the facility.
I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibilities for her to be working on it as they go.
Yeah. Long story short, she can send a creature to guide you.
If it's James, we got a deal. or whatever he goes by. I
You're
really
like,
like him.
I want that one.
Yeah. We have a rapport.
All my children share. They will guide you.
Yeah, but you're their mom. You kind of have to say that, right? Like, all my children are guiding people to the secret hidden passageway.
Yeah,
All
I mean,
my
we all
children
have
are
favorites.
James.
You know, oh god, they're all named James. James 1, James 2, James 3026. I'm rather partial to James 710.
A spider that looks a lot like James crawls out, right? So they had this like pathway open, and one of them crawls out into it.
There you are.
By the way, noting your exit from this chamber, the one you took in, is now conspicuously blocked by large spiders. And she looks at you all, and she goes, and I can only limit their hunger for so long. Do we have an agreement?
Well, listen. I don't mean to be that person, but if you have all of your spider children eat the 4 or 5 of us, that's temporary, right? You are looking at probably the only folks that can actually help you out long term. So I think that your blessing and your protection should last longer than what you're indicating.
She means yes. We'll do it.
I'm just
Yes.
saying that you need to look at the long-term goal here, and the long-term goal is not eating us. We might have setbacks.
It seems like you have a plenty amount of meat around, capable of producing some yourself. I mean, look around you.
I don't think that's necessarily the right answer either. I'm just saying, like, it would be a really short-term solution to eat the 5 of us.
Right,
Like,
right.
it'd be like a barely a snack for everybody. I don't even think we'd sate their hunger, to be honest with you.
No, but hear me out. Helping this an infinite meat source is a perfect thing for them.
Kit's
I say
right.
we help them. I say we
We'll
help
take
them.
the deal. Yep. Yep.
Yes, very good. Yes, we'll do that.
And if James wants to come with me at the end of all of this, you let him come with me?
She looks at you and she goes, she just goes, move quickly. Move quickly. Subdue these creatures, and my children can be satisfied. With that, I will reward all of you with weapons and knowledge. I have heard you speak. I know you search for the artifact, for the thing that powers the escape that the people of the city took. I can share what I know. And there is
Stasis
more.
globes, yeah.
There is more you do not know of what comes in this city.
I think we've struck ourselves a bargain in that case. Seems like we can be of mutual benefit, and I see no use in delaying this further.
Good. Then go. The pathway opens back up towards the door. And James begins leading the way out.
Wonderful. And what was your name? She'll say as they're walking out.
I am Nizarath.
Does that name ring any bells? Nizaron?
Nizaroth, no, eh?
All right,
Figment,
Lady
you
Nizaron.
do know for sure that the the Wizards of Aor were famed for a number of things, right? For a number of things, including like very powerful and strange arcane feats, right? There was something not human about this figure that you're talking to. There's a lot of not human things about this figure that you're talking to.
Yes. Am I getting like deity senses?
Something very much not mortal. Whether it's a deity or not, like, is kind of a depends who you're talking to.
He's getting a bad taste in his mouth.
And she looks fully human? Or does
No,
she
so
got,
here
like,
she doesn't
spider
even look fully. She doesn't even look fully there. She looks like it's almost an illusion, right, or something like not entirely present.
All right. I think they'd be just see you later when we get the creatures taken care of.
As you head out the door, we're gonna find out where you go next time on episode 51 of Heroes Die Show.
Oh gosh.
Maybe it's good we didn't let Saleya see us make a deal with like the spider goddess or whatever.
I was just thinking,
He didn't need to see that.
Literally rolling over in his grave right now.
It's like, what are you guys doing?
The second I'm gone, you start making deals with spiders.
I knew it.
Oh no.
All right, well, thanks everybody. Really appreciate your time again today, and hopefully we'll see you next Saturday from come on, what's the time? From 8:30 to 11:30 Central Time. There we go.